Hi, it's Rhonda, Climbing Culture Daily. And this is Chit Chat. I wanted to chit chat today about fandoms. Um, Basically, I this all was prompted from the BET Awards from last night, and I was watching and also going back online, and as we all have done, but especially old school Twitter days, when an award show comes on, you're on Twitter, and but then the fandom comes up, the fans. And I will say that I am fairly new to the Kendrick fandom. I have been a fan, an admirer. I'll say it like that, an admirer of Kendrick's, but not really like a fan. I wasn't like banging the music out and listening to it. And so, yes, like all the newcomers, I'll admit it, all this beef stuff. I was like, wait a minute, hold up, let me go all the way back. Let me listen to some old mixtapes and untitled stuff and etc. So now I can say that I'm a fan. I'm like, oh yeah, I have missed out. Sorry, Kenny. Sorry, Mr. Morale. But I'm late to the game. With that said, so I'm late to the fandom. So I'm looking online and I'm seeing, the different Twitter accounts dedicated to Kendrick, and they're going up against the OVO fans. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I knew some stuff was deep, people have their takes on the beef. But I didn't realize how delusional everybody has become. It's just really getting a little batty. To just everybody making outlandish statements and claims on both sides. Now, I will say this before I go even further, that I am not a Drake fan. No, I'm not. But with that said, I think liking or disliking Drake as the person is different than the art stuff a little bit, meaning that I understand why people may like his music. I get that. He's a bop. He's the dancing dude, right? It is so I get it. I get it. I get the energy cuz I come from, as you see his face back there, the Prince fandom, which has its own set of what the hell people that have gone and done some of the craziest stuff. My fandom, in a communal group way, really started in the 90s. I think sometimes people don't realize, people were online, not AOL, even online, just but online. And there was a mailing list. It was called Paisley Park Mailing List, that I had subscribed to, and we would just talk about Prince, and people would, put their 2 cents in, and it really moved quickly into this chat. It was a chat called Steve Hammer's Chat. Steve was a journalist here in Indianapolis, interesting enough, and he had created a chat room, and it got so popular in the Prince world because it was dedicated to Prince. We all were in there. And this is, we moved like this. Understand, and if you meet a Prince person, they could take you back to these very stories if they're that old or a Prince fan. Then Prince.org and Housequake were created, and that kind of where the divide pops up a little bit. Prince had a website that had a chat room called the Holy River, and some of us were in there too. That was a more spiritual Zen place. But Prince.org, the fandom, and I'm a part of that crew of the fan world. We are more of the cynical. Sometimes the fandom calls us the hater. We hate because we gonna say something sucks. Like if Prince dropped something, it's like that album sucked. We were that group. And the website probably represented that energy because it wasn't 100% dedicated to Prince. There was and still is, a politics and religion section. There was just a general conversation section. There was a music and more. So like you could talk about everything on that site. So it wasn't just all about Prince. And there's also a chat room where we can kind of talk. And then Prince then said, wait a minute, hold up. Y'all crazy over there talking about me. Like that. I'm doing my music club. And so that's where you could get the Prince music, but he also had a chat, and there's also all the things and message boards, and the fandom over there were definitely the stands. Prince could do no wrong. And Housequake, I would say, were the music nerds, like the people who really did want to talk about liner notes and a bass line and that kind of stuff. Really good information. Like when an album dropped, you do want to go to Housequake and actually get the deets. But with that said, I'm going somewhere with this. Bear with me. I'm used to craziness. I'm used to people naming the kids after Maite and Actually remember I met a woman in a class that I had a Prince keychain, and she was like so just happy that she met a fellow Prince fan. And then she asked me if I was going to all of Maite's belly dancing classes. And I was like, why would I was like, no. She said, you're not? Oh my God, I've traveled here, traveled there. So like I said, there's everybody has the stand-up, the stand world, the deep ride or dies. And that have created parasocial relationships with this. Now, I will say this, in the Prince world, we have been very blessed to be almost very close to Prince in a weird way. And a lot of times through his proteges, quote unquote, or band members or people like that who would go into those websites and talk to us and all that kind of stuff. And then, you talk online to those people and they give you the good Prince stories. But in watching what is happening with the Kendrick and Drake, it's hard to find the people who aren't crazy. That's really what I was trying to get at. That I could find the not crazy Prince fans because of the website. I can go, okay, you're not the really out there Prince fans. I can, this is the balance. Like I said, there's Prince albums we were like, this sucks. Or a song like Purple and Gold. If you ever find Purple and Gold, it's a horrible Prince song. But that's what we want. We want that kind of critique to say, our favorite, man, that didn't happen, but oh my God, this was unbelievably great. And being able to have those kind of conversations, I've not been able to find that group that really has balance, because everything is a fight, and it's a fight to not being even realistic, right? The conversations between Drake and Kendrick. And let me just say this. I will say my entry into learning more about this beef and learning more about these two artists, I have to give it up to the hip hop YouTubers. Y'all are fabulous. Oh my gosh. I'm sitting here like, I'm learning so much stuff. Like, I feel like I've missed 10, 12 years of music. I'm going, why was I not in tune with this? Because I was just living life. That's all it is. But why wasn't I in tune? So I'm going to get up to hip hop media YouTubers. I don't know what y'all call them yourselves, but y'all are dope. And I love listening to the critiques and it being balanced. It really being saying like, oh yeah, Drake has some good bars and Family Matters, but da da da. Like it's not, I don't know. But then you get off of there, you go to TikTok, you go to X, you start looking at what people are saying, and it really is concerning in a way. And it doesn't just go to Kendrick and Drake, but it goes across all fandom right now, where everything is so isolating and polarizing that it's hard to even learn about new artists. It's hard to kind of have a different perspective and engage in conversation and opening, another person's mind up to something that you might really be into. Like, I just saw something on X where somebody was criticizing Doechii winning awards at the BET Awards and saying all the awards Doechii has won, Glorilla should have won. And I'm sitting there like, what are y'all doing? That's not how you have that conversation. Like, if you feel Glorilla has, really worked her butt off in the past year, and she has. I listened to Glorilla and I listened to Doechii. But I'm not going to do that, though, because, Doechii has worked just as hard to obtain those accolades and that, admiration as Glorilla has. So there's a different way of having those conversations, because, like, my fave has won less awards than others, right? Prince has, like, I think 7 Grammys. And I think the year if you really want, since Bono was on Lil Wayne's album, 1987, it's 87 or 88 Grammys. When is it? Prince, Sign of the Times, Michael Jackson, Bad, Whitney Houston, I think, Bono on YouTube, and they lost to U2. Oh, the devastation, the what the hell. And unfortunately, we didn't have a Twitter to run to and go, what the hell just happened? So I get the frustrations, I get those things, and you want to cheer on, but you guys got to start being a little more insightful and thoughtful about the conversations that you're having. Because I absolutely, as much as I do not like Drake as a human being, and I do not understand how y'all be still rolling with that man with the black face and the fakeness of it all. And I've said that. I have a whole video on my little channel saying I don't like that man, never have. But do I understand it? Because my daughter said, I don't like him, but he makes a bop. There's going to be a slap. I'm going to get to dance. That was my employees trying to get me to go do some work. I'm not doing it. And so I get that. Right? Like, I'm going, okay, well, I get that. I'm not going to, hold you, girl. Do your Drake thing. I couldn't even think of a Drake song right then. I was trying to think of a song. I think we have to stop. We got to pull back, and we don't know these people, and they don't need us to cheer for them in this kind of way. You cheer for them by listening to their music and buying their music. The streaming crap is ridiculous, but actually purchasing the music. And yeah, have some healthy conversations, but I think it's getting really to the point where it's just all unhealthy on all sides. No matter what side of this particular thing you're on, it's goofy as hell. It just is. And yes, we know the goofiness. I saw the flyer about, free pizza and OVO sweatshirts at the concerts this Friday. We know that it is getting goofy. At every moment, the ticket sales dropping. All of this is weird. It's becoming really, really weird. We didn't do that for I don't know. We never saw, I think on the Prince side, we never really saw Michael against Prince. I think it was always kind of the other way. If he was a huge MJ fan, you kind of like, Prince sucks. But I don't know. I don't get it. I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate the new fan space that I'm in. I'm even becoming more of a Beyonce fan after going to see Renaissance, and we just came back from Cowboy Carter, and I really have learned to appreciate who she is as an artist. And that's all this is about, y'all. It is not about us trying to cheer them on. We have been blessed with music. It is a blessing to listen to what God has put in these people's hearts and what they can come up with. It's just amazing to me because I'm not an artist. I don't sing, I don't paint. So I'm amazed with artistry. I'm fascinated with artistry. I love art. And so I just want us to have a healthier attitude about the way that we handle this fandom going forward because, the summer ain't over. Dre gonna drop something. Let's have fun. Let's keep it light. You know what I'm saying? You know. But I do think I'm gonna have a conversation. I think I'm gonna get on here and I'm gonna talk about the Prince fandom and how and break that down. And just how we rolled through through all the years of our fandom. So again, this is the Climbing Culture Daily. This is Rhonda. Till the next time.